going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with your boys Alex and Ryan. Today we're discussing the Yankees signing the number 9 international prospect in the world right now, 17 years old. I think his name is Brandon Mayea. If you know better than we do, if you have a different pronunciation which you know is correct, please let us know in the comments. But as far as I'm concerned, it's Mayea, and the guy's a freaking animal. He's a freaking stud coming out of Cuba. Really talented outfielder. He's a little bit older for an international signing, but at the end of the day, the Yankees have done a tremendous job finding really talented players and making them a part of the organization. You look at Roderick Arias, the number 1 international prospect last year. The guy's an absolute stud infielder. A lot of really great projections around him. Then Jason Dominguez obviously was previously in 2019 the top international prospect. Now he is a prominent part of this farm system and rising through the ranks rather quickly, and he should find his way to Double-A Somerset this year, I believe. So you're looking at a player who is considered or called the Martian. The Yankees have done a really good job developing some of these international prospects, and the next one on the list, Brandon Mayea, we're going to discuss him, what he brings to the organization. They gave $4.4 million to sign him to a deal, which was the majority. I think it was about 82% of their international pool money. So a lot of money. They invested heavily in this young player, so I'm excited to discuss him. Ryan, but before we do, how you do today, my friend?
I'm doing great. Ultimately, when you're looking at international free agency, as you mentioned, the Yankees have had some guys who have become some of their best prospects. Obviously, you have to wait quite a bit of time to, see how they pan out at the major league level because, again, these guys are really, really young. I mean, we said Mayea is one of the older international free agents. Typically, you see them sign at 16. He's 17 years old, so he's not even 18. I'm older than Mayea, which feels a little bit weird to say out loud. But, quite frankly, if you're looking at what the Yankees are getting here, according to Fangraphs, he is one of the top international free prospects as well. They're guys. They include guys from Japan as well. So they have Murakami as the top guy who has been linked to the Yankees, isn't going to be posted until 2025. Jung-Ho Lee of Korea, Ethan Salas, who was signed by the Padres, I believe, Masataka Yoshida, signed with the Red Sox, and then Mayea slots in at that 5th slot. So he's the only player really here outside of Salas who's an international free agent signing as a young teenager. Some of his standout tools include his hit tool. He's projected to get to like a 60 grade hit tool. His speed is pretty good. His glove is pretty good. He's a center fielder. A 45 future value prospect, which is pretty good. It's probably going to rank somewhere in the top 10 for the Yankees in their organization. And when you're a top 10 prospect or in that category, and you're just signed, that's pretty good territory to be in. Even looking at Jason Dominguez, sorry. The Yankees have done a really good job with making sure that their progress, despite things like the pandemic, despite things like, a lot of hype, they've made sure that those prospects have stayed able to stay on the right track. 2021 kind of lowered Dominguez's stock, I'd imagine, because it wasn't the explosive start to his minor league career you were looking for. And then year 2, he blossomed. He got all the way out to Double-A, and if you look at his postseason numbers with the Double-A, with the Somerset Patriots, who won the Eastern League Championship, they were electric. Mayea is going to look to try to not take that sort of leap this year, obviously. He's not going to reach Double-A at the age of 18. That would be unprecedented. But looking to get his feet wet in professional baseball, have a strong year this year, and then in year 2 or 3 with the organization, start getting, your licks in and getting yourself closer and closer to Double-A, because really that's the threshold you're looking at here. That's when guys break out. That's when guys, they make or break it before they're considered, top-of-the-line prospects with major league caliber tools and ready to make an impact on the team. Obviously, you can't really project. It's hard to project a teenager. It's hard to project a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old kid. This, he could completely flop, and we understand that that's the risk when it comes to signing any international free agent. But the Yankees don't. It's different with the NBA. It's different with the NFL, where those guys are kind of considered franchise cornerstones the second they're drafted, the second they're acquired. In baseball, it's like it's a slow process, right? And I'm very excited to see how he does in his first year in professional baseball, and I'm glad to see that the Yankees are continuing to attack the international free agent market, because as you mentioned, they've done really well in that regard. Oswald Peraza, Oswaldo Cabrera, Andre Chaparro, I believe Yoendrys Gomez as well, Luis Severino. There are plenty of guys who are either going to be impact players or have made impacts at the major league level that have come from the international free agency, and the Yankees need to continue to hammer that as a point of emphasis for the organization.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys, I think Devi Garcia might be another one. A lot of these guys are, rising through the ranks and ready to make a significant impact in the future. And I think that it feels more so recently they've been investing heavily. I don't know if Jonathan Loizaga was one, out of Nicaragua. So I'm not sure. A lot of these guys are prominent players in the MLB now. But it seems like the Yankees have been investing a little bit more money and a little bit more time scouting these guys, and making sure that they get the top guns. Like they're signing a top 10 international prospect every single year, and they're not going with let's spread the money around. They're like, let's pour 80% of our bonus pool into one specific player. And it seems to be working quite well because Jason Dominguez looks like a stud so far. But this is what some of the different scouts have had to say about Mayea. So specifically, Fangraph said simply, he has a great feel for contact and swings with rotational verve, and the combination is enough to punish the baseball. Ben Badler of Baseball America says that Mayea has a simple, efficient swing from the right side and a mature approach using the whole field with good plate coverage, and that he makes frequent hard contact. They're saying he has uncommon bat speed and power, so definitely exciting stuff here. It seems like a lot of people are focusing in on his offensive capabilities. From the right side of the play, he pulls the ball. Ryan, I know you're a big proponent of pulling the baseball. He's a guy that does that very well, and he has some nice power at 5'11", 170 pounds, but he's also a very good athlete. He projects to be a center fielder in the future. He has range. He's got good speed, good instincts out there defensively, and being the fact that they have him as a well above average runner is definitely a great thing. He also has a plus throwing arm, which is really, really good. So you're looking at a player who has plus arm, good pulls, good pull rate, good, power, good athleticism, good defensive instincts. I mean, it sounds like he's another really great offensive prospect, but also with some projections as a starting center fielder in the future. Now, again, he's 17 years old. I'm curious to see how they get him involved, maybe at the Florida Complex kind of league over there. And it should be fun. They have some winter baseball, obviously. It's going to be interesting to see how they get him involved into their farm system and how quickly he rises through the ranks since he is a little bit older, Ryan. But where could you see him playing this year? I mean, there's not really a ton of information on the kid, but he is very talented, as a lot of different scouts have mentioned, and a lot of people are noting his offensive capabilities. But where do you think the Yankees can kind of get him involved so he can expedite his growth, being that he is a little bit older than the rest?
Yeah, so I think he starts out the same place. Roderick Arias, who was their top free agent from last offseason, signed, and that was with the Dominican Summer League. But unlike with Arias, who just kind of stayed with the Summer League and he only played 31 games there, I think he has a chance to play a lot more games there. So and move up maybe perhaps to a higher level. But the goal is to get him to the U.S. and get into American League, not American League, U.S. or affiliated ball in like low A or high A by the time year 2 rolls around. Year 1 is kind of you feel out what he's got. It's his first test at professional baseball. It's a huge adjustment. There's a big jump that's taken in that regard, and it's about getting him transitioned into that process, getting him transitioned into an everyday role in the professional organization, and getting him comfortable with coaches and understanding that process. Year 2 is really that big year where you kind of look for a meteoric rise, and or year 3 even, where those 2 years are kind of years where if the guy starts blowing past different leagues and blowing past all those levels, you're like, damn, we have a really good prospect here. That's what we saw Jason Dominguez. Again, it took him about to year 3. He lost a year due to the COVID pandemic, which, hopefully nothing like that happens for any of these younger guys. But ultimately, year 1's that kind of, you hope he has a good start to his career. It's not going to tell you too much about his future. It's really year 2 and year 3 you're looking for that quick rise to the system or flashes of brilliance. And him being an outfielder means the Yankees have some more strength in that outfield depth. The Yankees have traded a lot out of their outfield and pitching depth over the last few years. Whether it's the Jameson Taillon trade where they traded Rosny Contreras, Miguel Yajure, and Michael Escato alongside Diego Castillo, who they let go, I believe, in the Clay Holmes deal. Those are a lot of international free agents that they've traded. Kevin Alcantara in the Rizzo deal. Elvis Peguero in the Andrew Heaney deal. Jose Devers in the Stanton deal. Ezekiel Duran in the Gallo deal. These are all guys who the Yankees have acquired through international free agency, and they've traded away. So the Yankees need to keep making sure they're replenishing their depth. Jones, obviously, Dominguez, Everson Pereira kind of lead the outfield depth, but it doesn't hurt to have more, especially considering the infield is going to be looking at least to be set for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I mean, this is exciting, guys. Having all these different international prospects rising through the system, the Yankees obviously are doing a great job finding them. But I'd love to hear perspectives and opinions below in the YouTube comments. Just want to give you guys an update on this specific player and what he's offering. So it is definitely exciting stuff. But as always, my friends, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. Let's go New York Giants today. We got a big game. And as always, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.